Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Opportunity Project, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with Pat Hughes on this edition of Illinois Rising. And Pat, State Representative Jeanne Ives, friend of the show, Republican from Wheaton, announced this week her intentions to challenge Bruce Rauner in the Republican primary for the nomination to face either Spalding or Mayor Quimby in the spring and into the fall next year for the governorship of Illinois. Jeanne focusing on, frankly, where we are 3 years after Rauner campaigned on shaking up Springfield and turning around Illinois. And instead, what we've had is him turning his back on the Republican Party, pursuing a social agenda that he said he didn't have, and otherwise leaving himself virtually a man without a country.
Yeah, and, Ives, of course, Dan, we know Jeanne well. We supported her originally when she ran for office, and since then, she's a terrific legislator, and she's a terrific person.
So handicap the race for us.
So the race is there's a wide open opportunity to take Bruce Rauner out in the primary. There's no question. Right?
What about the money?
So that's the issue, right? He's got 60-something million. That's really all Bruce Rauner has, Dan, is money. If Jeanne has a threshold amount of money, I put it at $5 million ultimately to get her message out and to sort of attack what Bruce Rauner has become to the Republican primary voters who aren't paying as close attention to what everybody else in the ecosystem knows. If everybody knows who Jeanne Ives is and everybody knows who Bruce Rauner is, who they really are, she'll win the primary. But there's a giant lift. He can get out on her early. He can try to damage her early. He doesn't want to do that now, though, because he'll just raise her name ID. So he's got a lot of problems. She's a very good candidate. She's formidable. And I actually think she's formidable in the general election, too.
Yeah, of course, their statement and response from Camp Rauner has been to kind of ignore her. But it also was learned this week that they're already running Google ads under the search term Jeanne Ives.
So I searched Jeanne Ives yesterday.
Yeah,
and the first thing that pops up is Rauner for governor, right? So look, anybody with a brain, and I presume Bruce Rauner and his staff have a brain, know that this is a very serious challenge. They know that Jeanne is a policy person down in Springfield. She's a well-respected person on the right and in the center. She's done bipartisan bills. She's a very serious person in politics. She's female. She's a West Point grad. A lot of suburban women are going to love her. It's a real, she's the perfect foil to Bruce Rauner in a Republican primary.
Well, and of course, it's funny to hear people talk about this, right? I mean, there's just kind of total lack of institutional knowledge or reflection on previous history, that's what all history is, previous.
Correct.
That's why it's history. She can't win. Can't win. Right? I mean,
that's why Hillary Clinton's president, by the way.
People do the conventional wisdom thing because it's easy, and it absolves them of having to participate or engage. But I mean,
it confirms their bias. Right?
Well, right.
It confirms their bias. Like I don't want her to win, so she can't win.
Well, but even people who may want her to win say, she can't win. She can't win. She'll Rauner's money and all this stuff. And of course, I mean, the political graveyard is stacked with people who were sure bang winners, including in Illinois, including uphill races like Ives. But it is a real challenge. I mean, people do not vote for someone they don't know. And obviously, in a universe of 800,000 Republican primary voters in a state as big as Illinois, you're not going to meet everybody. You can't knock on all those doors, so you have to have resources to broadcast and penetrate a message. And so that is a real challenge for Ives, I think she's still kind of making the go, no-go decision as she circulates to get the necessary petition signatures.
Yeah. Look, if this were, a standard Republican governor who's failed as badly as Bruce Rauner did, Jeanne Ives would be close to a front runner right out of the gate. The problem is all the money he has. That's it. That's what Bruce Rauner has. He has money. Everything else he doesn't have. He has no message. He's got no accomplishments. Like you said, he's lurched so far to the left that Republican primary voters, if they knew how far to the left he lurched on sanctuary state, on public funding of abortion, on many other issues, including the budget and everything else, they would reject him instantly.
Well, and
so what he has is money.
And those that do know are rejecting him. I mean, there's the kind of party regulars in open revolt of Rauner, legislators who've said the Rauner experiment is over. It's sort of a remarkable occurrence as you're a few months from a primary election with an incumbent governor. Also wanted to get your take on Ives-Moreland, who we both know, former state rep from the Quad Cities, who Jeanne selected to be his running mate.
Yeah, I like
running mate. Excuse me.
I like the choice for a lot of reasons. Rich is a terrific guy. He's a family guy. He's a farmer. He's an educator. He was a good legislator. Got kind of swept up in that 2012 Obama wave back then. But he's very good. We've supported him before. He's also from a good region of the state, which will help generate name ID and support for Jeanne. He's conservative. He's a very, very solid choice. And that it's a really, really attractive ticket. You have sort of a suburban mom, military person who's done all the things that other suburban moms have done, plus some extra.
5 kids.
5 kids. And she's from the northern part of the state and from the suburbs to attract there. And then you've got this farmer who's a conservative, who's a terrific guy, who's smart, knows politics, who can help her generate interest and vote and sort of profile in the part of the state that you and I know well that maybe some other people don't, south of I-80.
Yeah, and so it's always this kind of challenge when you're running an insurgent underdog campaign, as Ives and Moreland are running. It's the kind of convincing people to act in furtherance what they think should happen rather than what they think will happen. Don't rest on your political prognostication, focus on what you think should happen and act in furtherance of it. But it's a difficult thing to do, and it's a short run-up between now and December 4th to file, which is the filing deadline for candidates, and then March 20th, coming out of the holidays. Boy, it's a sprint. So I think it's still pending, but it certainly has generated a lot of buzz and interest within the political ecosystem in Illinois. And I think even though a lot of the donor class don't like it, the idea of the conservative grassroots being an accountability mechanism for a rogue governor that, as John Tillman called him, Benedict Rauner, that has lied to everybody about virtually everything. If we're not going to hold ourselves accountable as a party, then we shouldn't expect the larger electorate to believe that we would be held accountable to them if we were given the reins of power. So I think the prospect of a primary challenge is more useful than some may understand it to be.